Are you listening?
Welcome back to the Nerf Report. My name is Bryant. Happy Monday! And for today's show, I wanted to talk to you about subscription services for video games, which pretty much seems to be taking over the video game industry. Like, think about it. We have Xbox Game Pass, Stadia Pro, PlayStation Now, Utomix, Gamefly, EA Access, Uplay Plus, Apple Arcade, Nintendo Switch Online, Google Play Plus, Game Club, Humble Choice, and Stream Arcade and Hatch. And let's be clear, those are just the companies that I was able to find online. And that isn't including other subscription services like PlayStation Plus or Games with Gold. Because I really want to hone into those services that offer a massive library of games for a small monthly cost. And I actually want to ask the question, are they good for video games? And stay with me here, because obviously these services are great for consumers. As for $9.99 a month, you can have access to hundreds of video games, which is awesome. But is it good for the video game industry? Like, can a developer flourish under these services? Will subscription services change the way that video games are developed? And could there be any long-term effects that could seep into and affect the video game industry as a whole? And I guess what this topic spawned from was PlayStation's Jim Ryan, who explained to GameIndustry.biz this week the company's choice in not announcing a new subscription service to compete with Xbox Game Pass. Jim Ryan stated, "For us, having a catalog of games is not something that defines a platform. These games cost many millions of dollars, well over $100 million to develop. We want to make the games bigger and better, and hopefully at some stage more persistent. So putting those into a subscription model on day one for us just doesn't make sense." And that raises the very valid question. Do services that offer games for $9.99 a month prevent developers from creating those groundbreaking, never-before-seen video games? And does that loss of an upfront purchase because the game is launching on a subscription service cause the developer to make the game differently? Like, we've seen a massive spike in games as a service in the last 3 years. Developers have created worlds that, while at launch might be bare bones, however, they promise extravagant roadmaps with new content, skins, missions, or seasons that are oftentimes hidden behind microtransactions. So, are subscription services a breeding ground for games as a service? Are developers forced to make games that can recoup lost sales via microtransactions when launching on subscription services? And I get that that's kind of a hard concept to grasp, but take Xbox Game Pass. Right now, 4 of the first-party games available on the service are classified as games as a service. You have games like Sea of Thieves, Minecraft Dungeons, Grounded, and Bleeding Edge. Which, that's not to say that these are bad games, but it would directly feed into the theory that games as a service assist in the development process while launching a video game on a subscription service like Game Pass. And as far as how developers are compensated for being on a subscription service, well, that information is pretty well sealed. However, we do know that for a service like Apple Arcade, it is currently speculated that Apple will pay out a one-time fee to developers for their game. But even that idea raises the question of, how does Apple determine that one-time fee? What metrics are they using to determine that upfront payment? And that is only one of the payout strategies believed to be used with subscription services, with many believing that platforms actually utilize a payout system similar to the music industry. If you weren't aware, services like Spotify take all of the monthly revenue, combine it into just one massive number, and then divide that amount to all of the artists depending on how well their music performed that month. So let's just say that there was $10 million in revenue for the month of September, and Taylor Swift accounted for 2% of all the music played that month. Well, Taylor Swift would receive 2% of that month's payout, which is killer for T-Swizzle. But as you can imagine, Spotify has a ton of artists on the platform. So even if your song was listened to 1 million times, the chances that your percentage of overall plays is going to be above 1 or 2% is very difficult, meaning that many artists are being wildly underpaid for their services. And just stop for 1 second and think about that with the video game industry. If a developer normally launches a game for $59.99, but instead opts to launch on a subscription service that pays out similar to Spotify, that payout could be drastically less than if the company would have launched normally, which would cause the developer to scramble in order to make up for all of that lost revenue and avoid shutting down. Which again, if you have microtransactions or seasonal content, chances are you will make up all of that lost money on the back end. But going back to PlayStation, a game like The Last of Us Part 2 that has maybe 1-2 playthroughs before the average gamer's done with it, there is a 0% chance that that game could recoup all of its money or even make a profit. Like, take the Spotify strategy and apply it to Xbox Game Pass, who has a reported user base of 10 million subscribers paying $9.99 a month for the service. So for a game like The Last of Us Part 2, to make up for that $100 million, they would have to be the top game played for 2 months in a row. And every user would have to play that game more than once to make its percentage above 50% of the month's overall plays, just so the game could break even. And again, I am not saying that subscription services are bad and you shouldn't use them. I'm just raising the question of, are they good for the video game industry? And I'm really interested to see where you fall on this issue. Do you like subscription services? Are you subscribed to some of them? Do you find yourself playing all of the games that are offered in the package? Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Hey, thanks again for checking out our channel. Are you like the thousands of people in the comment section down below wondering why does this channel have so little subscribers? Well, you can fix that today by subscribing to the channel, liking the video, commenting, and sharing it with your friends, which I know sounds like a lot, but I feel like our channel is worth it.